Now. Okay, hi, it's Jen, Janine and Felicity from Ready Together, and we've just come off another awesome weekly group chat. And today we were talking about your body post-birth and kind of the huge list of physical changes that can happen in the body and do happen in the body, from the kind of more obvious like postpartum bleeding and what's normal, what's not normal, to things like foot size and hair loss. Many women go up a shoe size.
Yeah.
I just don't think you get warned about. And Janine, you were chatting about some of those common things that happen.
Yeah, we did. We were talking about swollen extremities and, like you say, the foot size being.
But the foot thing is permanent, right?
I don't know, but it certainly is a very common thing. I think it takes a long time for that extra fluid that we're carrying when we're pregnant to leave our body. So night sweats when the baby's born, that was another thing actually.
What about those night sweats?
Yeah, so it's a good way of the body to get rid of some of that fluid, but it's very normal. It's hormonal shifts, and it's.
But I mean, it's like liters. You have to change the bed, like you've wet yourself.
So if you don't know that it's coming, that's really isn't it? Because you're like, am I having a heart attack? Like, what's happening? You know.
Yes. So and the bleeding and how long bleeding should go on for and what to look out for. Also sore and weak extremities, sore arms and tired arms and wrists. So hair loss, all sorts of things we discussed today, which is really
so much hair loss.
So much.
I think you think hair loss, not prepared.
And looking after our pelvic floor, we had a big discussion about pelvic floor and returning to exercise and what to expect. So it was a really good group, and the mums were really awesome helping each other in that conversation.
Yeah, it was awesome. We actually were lucky enough to have a pelvic floor physio in the group.
We were.
And so having that awesome source of information in the group is amazing.
Yeah, and then also the fact all the breast information that we got from Felicity, which was fantastic.
Absolutely. I think it's hard to generalize because it is such an individual thing, but I think it's helpful to know that in those early weeks engorgement is common for some, and that when that settles down, it doesn't mean that your milk has gone. If you're not feeling really full, sort of somewhere between that 6 to 12 week, often women find it around about 8 to 10 weeks that they're not as full in the morning. So knowing that that's your body regulating, and it doesn't mean that your milk has disappeared. And if your baby's having their wet nappies and they're sleeping and you can hear the swallows, that just means your body has sorted it out. And it's normal again for babies to start feeding more frequently. 1 week they're feeding like they usually were, and then all of a sudden they're hungry all the time and harder to settle. And that's a leap in development. And they're trying to just boost your supply a little bit. And for some women, it's, as Jen was saying, it's 24 hours later you notice a difference, and for others it can take 2 or 3 days. But for most, it's around about the 2 or 3 days they might be a bit unsettled, and then it settles down again, and that's a really normal, and that will happen again when they start solids, and it will happen again, or it can happen again when the solids are taking on more of a priority, and that's all normal, and it's nothing to be concerned about. You just look for those wet nappies, look at the general behaviour and the swallows. So
and then we also touched on sort of exercise and kind of when you can swim and when you can get back to kind of more vigorous exercise, and then the pressure as a woman sometimes to get back to your old shape. And we sort of talked about maybe thinking of it as a new normal, because even if you do go back to the same weight, you're going to look different.
Your shape has changed.
Your shape changes, I think, with every baby. Things that sort of suited you, or what you've felt like you suited, even clothing wise, I think can change.
Mm.
So yeah, we talked about that. We talked about the pressure to get thin again, and kind of how unrealistic and unfair that is, and how we should try to stand up against that.
Because our hormones are there, really telling us that no, slow down. We're not meant to be doing that, and so you can be out pounding the footpaths and doing all of these sorts of things, and I think it can at times feel really demoralizing, because you're doing all this work and looking after a baby, and things might not be changing. And it's because our hormones are there saying, this is,
hold on to this because I need it
I need it.
Make the milk. I'm a milk making machine.
Yeah, and it's amazing when things do shift, and towards the end of that first year, often you do start to feel a little bit more like yourself, and things do come back together. And like you said, and a kind of a good note to close on is 9 months in, 9 months out.
Yeah, absolutely.
It takes 9 months to grow that baby and to do everything we need to do to deliver it. And so we should probably give ourselves that 9 months to recover.
Yeah, that's what our hormones want.
Yeah.
Oh, well said.
Thanks, guys. Thank you to everyone for joining today. We just love having you in there and seeing you week to week, and your awesome questions and contributions.
Thanks so much.
Okay.
Great to see you girls too.